Here in 63. Here in this he is going to say, whatever you say, whatever you see anywhere, it is all that Supreme Being, that Brahman. Brahman alone is true. If you see anything differently, you think that is somebody else, that is only an illusion, that is also you only. Because there is nothing but Brahman. This small storyline which I heard somewhere. In the olden days when Ramanashram was being built, there was a small earthworm which was living comfortably in the sand somewhere. When it found such a big building coming up, just it had a desire, why should I not have a small building of my own here? So it just asked our contractor, Mr. Anjaneyal, sir, would you mind building a small building for me? He said, okay. But you said, like men, I don't want only one entrance. I would like to have a back entrance and a front entrance, both. Like the government offices. Where one could go to the back door. So there should be two entrances. So a small one, befitting the status of our Mr. Erdogan, he built for it nicely. So the first day early in the morning, it just came out this way to see the Arunachala hills. It just, the earthworm is cylindrical. It is white in color almost, or sometimes skin color. It remains underneath the sands. It helps in eating away the small insects so that wherever, you are sowing some grains and all that, those will not be cut off by those insects. That is the idea. So in many of the places, especially in the rainy season, we can see. The beauty of the earthworm is, both sides can work. The front also will work, the back also will go. Wherever it wants, go to the back, and wherever it wants, can go to the front. So both are alike, and both work. So, it just came out, saw the Arunachala, it was bowing down, and was looking this way and that way. Suddenly it saw, through the opposite door, another earthworm was looking out. He was really angry. How dare somebody trespass into my territory? So he called him, hey, who are you? He just laughed. He said, I say, who are you? Get out. He said, sorry, I can't get out. You mean you won't get out or you can't get out? Sir, I can't get out because I am your tailor. So, what looked like other than the earthworm, this was also the earthworm. So, whomsoever you see, if you don't recognize him, take it is your tailor. So, Jagat Vilakshanam Brahma Brahmanonyana Kinchana Brahman Yadbhati Chen Nitya Yathamaru Marichika. Jagat Vilakshanam Brahma. The ultimate supreme being is Vilakshanam. It is absolutely different. It has nothing in common with the world. It is absolutely different from Jagat. Jagat means the world. Mithya means it is an illusion. It doesn't mean it is a lie. You are seeing it. It is just like it is a dream. So, Brahma Anyam Bhati Jain Mithya. Whatever else you are looking at, that's all an illusion. Yatha Maru Marichika. Maru Marichika means the mirage. When you go into the Sahara desert, you are walking, you are athirst, you are very thirsty. So at a distance you spy fine water, beautiful liquid water like. So you go there in order to quench your thirst. And what do you see? When you go here, you find there is no water at all. The entire thing was an illusion. That's called the mirage. So there is no real water. That has only happened to what I may say, an illusion of the eye. It's called an optical illusion because of the sunlight having been reflected in the sand, and nearby there is a reflection from some oasis elsewhere where there is some water. So all these things together gave you the illusion of water over there where there is no water. Then now we come to the next 64. Drishyate shruyate yadyati brahmanokanta tadbhavet tattva jnana jatad brahma satchidanandam advayam. All these things we have already seen. These are all repetitions. That is why I would like to take much time on it. We have dealt with it in great expanse. So, drishyate shruyate yadyate. Whatever we have heard of, we have heard of your beautiful divine being. We have heard of your beautiful king. We have heard of your nice fan. We have heard of your very nice building. So whatever you have heard, take it. It cannot be anything but Brahman. The fan is Brahman, the mic is Brahman, the pillar is Brahman, the wall is Brahman, every particle of it is Brahman. Every particle of it is that supreme consciousness. So everything is full of that supreme consciousness. There is a pure consciousness. What is the difference between ordinary consciousness and supreme consciousness? We are all conscious. We are all conscious. Then what is the difference between the supreme consciousness and our consciousness? In our ordinary consciousness, the consciousness is not pure because it is adulterated by the conditioning of your mind. The moment I see Mr. Lal, not only I see his form, I immediately remember last time when I was passing through, he was eating some very good badam nuts and he never offered me one. He is the same man. So that these things come in my mind. So it is not a question of a simple picture alone. My previous prejudices, my enmity, my love, my affection, my anger, my hatred. So whatever emotion was bring to the gentleman, the past memories, they all get revived. So as this consciousness is a colored consciousness. You are seeing not only somebody else, you are seeing him with all your conditionings coloring your eyes. That's why. But in the case of the pure consciousness, once you reach the stage, you will be seeing forms, but you know pretty well that they are all you yourself. So there is no prejudice. How can you be prejudiced against yourself? He is only one of your hands. He is my left hand. He is my right hand. He is my eye. He is my nose. How can I be angry with them at all? Even if they do something wrong, which try to harm me, which try to injure me. No, I will not be having it. So my conscience is pure, unsullied, immaculate, untouched, untainted by any of those old conditions, which we call as vasana, sanskara, the latent tendencies. There he has got no latent tendencies at all. So no prejudices, unprejudiced. He is samatva. He has got equal vision. He sees them all with equanimity. Why? Because he doesn't see anywhere but himself. Himself is the supreme consciousness. Then, tattva jnana jatat brahma. We don't see yet the full knowledge of its reality. Tattva jnana. Tattva is reality, jnana is the knowledge. So, by attaining the knowledge of the reality, the once he knows what actually is real, what he sees is not real life. None of these forms are real. So, what does he see? He sees, oh my Lord, there is nothing, there is only a big flow. There is an undivided flow. Flow of what? Satchidananda. An undivided flow of something like energy which exists, which has got its own self-awareness. Nobody need come and tell him, you are there. There is nobody who need come and show a torch and it reveals itself. It is a self-revealing one.
That is why all the prophets, they were able to get it. We say the God came and revealed the Quran. We say the God came and revealed the Veda. We say the God came and revealed the Navasta of the Masters. But what do you mean by that revelation? It is self-revealing. Once you get that knowledge, what happens here? According to our earlier conditioned imagination sometimes, it looks as if your very Lord comes and talks. But in the case of Moses, it was only something which was formless. I can't say completely formless, because as I told you, the knowledge comes in the form of light. So he found a big light on the Mount Sinai, at the top of it. And he asked, who are you? He said, I am what I am. That is all. What can he say? Amness. It is only the amness. It is only the existence. It is only the pure being. That is all. What you call as Sat. And the pure being, as it is coming before his eyes, so it is still. It is also conscious. It is able to talk to him. Talk to him in the sense, it is able to reveal itself to him. It keeps no secrets. There is a stage where he merges with it. When once he merges, what can there be a secret? If I move this gentleman for 80 years, I wouldn't be able to understand it fully. Because he will be hiding some of his inner thoughts and emotions in my prison. Oh, Swamiji, I should behave with him in this manner, that manner. He has got some preconceived ideas. So naturally, he will be behaving in a natural way. So I do not know what all the thoughts are causing his mind. But when once I am able to enter into his mind, if my mind becomes one with him and that merges itself, then obviously there is only stage where I can understand him fully. So that sort of an understanding comes, and that is the Tattva-jnana. That is the stage of reality where the individual merges with the universal. Universal alone is, there is no individual. Individual is an illusion. As soon as you got with the body, it is you who have divided yourself thinking that I am David, I am Jonathan, I am Sanyasa, I am Richard, I am Dick, and Harry. So these are all your own imaginations. These are all artificial differentiations which you have conceived. Satchidanandam, so you get to that final stage where you only remind this, there is absolutely no other thought in you, and you have become that. What you have become? You have become only existence. So long you are existing as Mr. David, you are existing as Mr. Lord, you are existing as Mr. Natarajan. But now, when you got that ultimate knowledge, the revelation, you no longer exist, you have become that very existence. Then the difference. So you have become the existence made the existence which is revealing. It is the consciousness, the supreme consciousness. Consciousness means what it tells you. Again remember the definition. Consciousness means the awareness of and, but amness. Again in other words, it is as good as the first one, that is Sat, that is being. So being and awareness are together, they are interspersed. They are so intricately involved, you cannot separate the one from the other. So, it is only for understanding, because if you say, this exists, you understand. If I say, I know I exist, you understand. So if I say that I know and I exist, both are the same, now this thing fell. Either you think that Swamiji is a little confused like or something, so you won't be able to understand it. That's why for that purpose, they are giving separation. But if you ultimately see, if you exist and if you don't have any consciousness, what is the purpose of your existence? Who is to tell that you exist? You will not be able to tell. So, consciousness is an essential portion of the existence. And consciousness, it looks as if it is like a quality which something possesses. And supposing nothing existing, then who is possessing the consciousness? Who is aware? So naturally, consciousness requires existence, existence requires consciousness. So, both are synonymous, identical. Satchidanandam, Advaitin. As I said, absolutely, there is nothing else. You cannot differentiate it even within itself. Now, I am alone. Say there is nobody else. Even then I will differentiate myself. I will say, this is my nose, this is my ear, this is my eye. In 100 ways I divide myself. I am not one whole. I am not having a whole distribution of myself. All my vision is in installments. I consider myself as a body with a separate head, with hair, with ears, God only knows. And if you are more anatomical, then God save you like a medical man, having 1,000 names are the differentiations? Number one, between one species and another species. This is an animal, this is a man. But Brahman doesn't belong to any species, he is alone. There are no other species, all species are all illusion. So Brahman alone is. So there is no question differentiation between species and species, which is called the Vijatiya Bheda. The second one in Vedanta, we call it Sajatiya Bheda. Yes, there are dogs here. But there are 15 dogs. There is one black dog, there is one brown dog, there is one white dog, there is one which has got a mix-up of 2-3 colors. So within the one species of dogs, there are 1,000 differences lie. Brahman doesn't come under any species at all. He is the only one of his kind. So there is no second with whom to compare. Then, the third thing is, supposing there is no species, he is alone, then even when he is alone, his eyes can be differentiated in 1,000 ways. That is called Swagata Bheda, the differentiation in one's own self. But here is all one complete an ocean of consciousness, and you can't distinguish between one particle and another particle. It is all the same. There is a holistic vision of it. That's what we get. Satchidananda Mahatma. See, the only thing is, you can never find out easily who is the person who has attachment. Because he will behave so normally, sometimes even subnormally. You will think that he is a madcap or he is slightly static or whatever you may call it, backward child and all that like that. That's what you would think, or he is colored. You cannot find out. See, both look alike. See, what differs is only in his jnana chakra. The eye is now different. He sees everything with a different eye. This is an eye impregnated with knowledge. It is an eye of knowledge. While the other time he sees with the normal eye. So, it is the inner vision which differs. Both will be seeing at the same person. I will be seeing it Mr. Lal, another will be seeing it Mr. Lal. To me Mr. Lal looks at me, as myself. I know that form, but I know this form also is myself for me. That form makes no dent. I don't say, oh, he is the person who filed this suit against me lost in the court of law. So none of this conditioning comes. I know that he is verily the Brahman, the same supreme consciousness which I am. So, both look alike. But originally I had an eye of illusion. I was deluded. Now I have a knowledge of experience. As experienced, I have come to see. This is again a small story line. Some of you might know about it. When Mr. Darga is there, once she went to Ranchi. In Ranchi there is a beautiful mental asylum of the best kind in India. For people who are off their head, off their rocket. For them there is a nice, very big hospital from the British days. It is there. Some doctor was very well known to him, a friend of his. He said, come on, we'd like to go down and see the type of mad people who are so much in this sane, you are almost about to become insane. So, for a change, you see these people. So he took them round, and when he was going, there was one room. There was one chair, a single chair. They had given him a rocking chair. He was sitting in the rocking chair, and he was going on rocking, saying, Lulu, Lulu. He looked at the doctor said, go below. 5 years back he loved a doll who was called a Lulu. But that doll was so fertilized, so finally she tilted him. Poor child was landed here inside. Oh, sorry. They went a little further, and after visiting a few more rooms, they came to another room where there was another young man. He was hitting hard his head against the wall, saying, Lulu, 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 Lulu. He looked at afterwards. Just to ask, is it another lover of hers? No, he is the child who married her. So now this is experience. He has also landed in the same asylum, but now his Lulu is a matter of experience. His Lulu was a division. There is a difference between a Jivan Mukta and a man who is trying to get knowledge. Now this man's eyes are open. is Jnana-chakshu. On the other side, his eyes are not been opened. That's it. So, Sarvadam Satchidanandam. Very specific. Sarvadam Satchidanandam. Jnana-chakshu nirikshate. Ajnana-chakshu nirikshate. Bhakvantam bhanum bhavati. He says, a man who has developed that I have knowledge means, and I have real perception. Our perception is called cloud. While real perception is one where you are able to. Where is it not? This Brahman is everywhere because there is only the Supreme Consciousness. Sarvadam Satchidanandam. The final Supreme Consciousness is the nature of existence, knowledge and bliss. See, bliss is an automatic concomitant. Bliss is not something backward. When you are in the state that I am, then plenty of bliss is just a process. You are a soul also that infinite bliss. But so far, because your prejudices, like and dislike, I like this, I don't like this, I want this, I don't want this, so with the result you put so many walls. So these walls allow the trickle of that happiness to come through, and it just attaches itself to those objects which you like. Today you are having potato vegetables. So the moment you saw, your little trickle of this happiness went out, and it placed itself into the potato vegetable. First class. You thought the potato is giving you the happiness. Potatoes don't give you happiness, all the happiness is in you. It is a super. So Jnana-chakshuhu nirikshate, the one who sees that supreme consciousness which is omniscient, which is all pervasive, that can be seen, nirikshate. It is being seen. It is being perceived. Nirikshate means it is being perceived. It is not a simple seeing. It is being perceived with penetration. By whom? Jnana-chakshuhu. Only the eye impregnated with the real knowledge, that alone can penetrate to the way and see the Satchidananda, the Brahman. Ajnana-chakshuhu na iksheta. A man with an eye full of ignorance, which has been veiled by the darkness of ignorance, he won't be able to see that. How? He is giving a knowledge. We are having a try. We are able to see the sun beautifully in the noon whenever he shines well. But supposing there is a blind man that has been blind from birth, who has never seen the sun at all, will he be able to see how bright the sun may be? No, he can't. So in this way only, the man whose eyes are veiled with a cataract of ignorance, he will be able to see, unless the cataract is removed. How the cataract can be removed? Only by Shravana, Manana, Nididya. Go and hear from a guru or from the scripture something about reality, then go on applying the sharp razor of your logic and reasoning, and find out what he says. How far does it stand to reason and logic? Can it be? Could it be? Or there are knowledges among the things known to me lie? Is there a possibility of what he says being true lie? So, or have I read like this from anywhere? Yes. Mr. Record has told a similar experience. Yes, it could be true. Yes. Saint Ignatius Lal also has told about a similar experience. So that means so many Mahatmas, people parted by different times, well, they have been able to, and people who have had no access to the other man's book perhaps, such people have agreed. So I think there should be some truth in it. Get a conviction. And Ajnana-chakshuhu niriksheta bhatvantam. Bhatvantam means the shining. Bhanu means the sun. Andhavat. Andha means the blind man. Andha. Vati. Vati means light. Just like a blind man, bhatvantam bhanu, the sun who is shining beautifully, cannot be seen. Na iksheta. By whom? Ajnana-chakshuhu. By the one whose eyes have been veiled by the cataract of ignorance. Ajnana Chakshu, whose eye is full of ignorance, that's all. Now, we come to the 66th. Shravanadi Viruddhitaha Jnanagni Paritapitaha Jivat Sarvamalan Muktaha Swarnavadyodate Swayam. Again the same thing. As I was telling you, what is the method of operating the contract? Who is the surgeon who will do it? That is what is being discussed now. I already told you. The same thing is being discussed in this. He says, when once the operation is done, then what happens? Then you need not go in search of the sun, catch hold of him and bring him to Guru Bhai. He is shining already, so as such, he is shining by himself. You only get into the cataract which you have got, then the sun shines by himself. Similarly, the individual soul, who has so far been identifying himself with his finite body, thinking that the color of the body is the color of his Atma, and you are thinking that the birth and death which belongs, the nature of birth and death which belongs to his body is mine, the wrinkles of the body are mine, the diseases of the body are mine. If there is a pain, I feel I am having the pain and agony. So that whatever belongs to the body, you attribute it to yourself and you suffer. Why should you suffer? You are always free from suffering. How can electricity suffer? Even if you throw a stone on the bulb, it is the bulb which will break. But unfortunately, the electricity inside the bulb is individualized itself. It is thinking as a 0-watt bulb, which is this black bulb. And so the moment you take a stone, it is shouting, it is trembling, oh my Lord, please, oh sinner, don't throw the stone on me, it will hit me. But how can it be? It is only that will be injured, not a scratch will be there on the Atma. So but it is unaware of it because of its conditioning. Not only that, even after the bulb is reduced to pieces, the electricity, if it is conscious, because of its nearness, it will be feeling the pain. Oh my Lord, I have been broken to pieces. Oh my Lord. This is what will happen. This is what the Atma is now doing. The body cannot cry. The body is insentient. You cut the hand cannot cry. You are having a vicarious feeling. Inside the hand, you are not cut. The Atma cannot be cut. But the Atma is weeping on behalf of the hand, saying, oh, my hand has been cut off, I have been lost, in Hindi they say, I have died. That is the usual term you say, I have died, that's all. You do something, they will say, Vimargya, I have died. That is the usual expression. Shravanadi Viruddhita, Jnanagni Paritapita. The Jiva, Swayam Jyotate. When once you do that operation, then this individualized soul, Jiva means the individualized soul, a soul which is considering himself as Mr. David, Mr. Godman, Mr. Friedman, Mr. Shantananda. So that is the Jiva. The Jiva is one which thinks that is encased in this mortal toy. So Jiva, Sarva Malan Mukta, is now free from all conditions, is now free from all dust. Mala means dust. What is that dust? Anger, prejudices, enmity, ill will, jealousy, envy. So whatever you say, it is all the various types. What are they? They are all the conditioning. Because of birth and due to the environmental conditioning, we have been imbibing certain impressions that this fellow is a rascal, this fellow is a good man, he has done that. And we have been nurturing all these grudges against the people, the ill will against the people, and that is what has caused the first stumbling block. And we thought that we sit for meditation for 2 words, and we say, oh sir, who am I? I have been doing it for 25 years, I get no fruit. How can this fruit? Your mind is sitting with anger, sitting with the ill will, sitting with all the prejudices in the world. And will the prejudices come, or will the God come and stand before you and say, my dear sir, with all your faults, with all your conditions, I am before you. It's impossible. Shravanadiviruddhita. How does it do it? How comes that he is shining? How does she shine? Swarnavati, just like gold. What happens to the gold? When does the gold shine? You get a gold ore fresh from some places, from Africa and somewhere, or from Kolar gold field. And how will it look like? It will look very dull. Its color won't be there. It's mixed up with various impurities. And over in the bathroom it has been underneath the earth. There has been a lot of muck over it, there has been a lot of dust. It's covered with various dirt, various impurities. So what do you do to make the gold shine? You have to put it in fire. The first thing is you put it in fire, and a lot of impurities which are there, at various temperatures, they are melted away in gold, leaving the gold pure and sublime. So, in a similar way, a man whose eyes are covered with that veil of cataract, what does he do? He goes and gets himself operated. Here the operation was burning off the impurities. Put it in a cauldron, put it in a fire, put it in an oven. But here, how does he do? An aspirant who wants to find out the reality and take away his ignorance, which is veiling his eyes, he has to go to a proper master, to a guru, to a preceptor, who has himself gone by the path and has reached the stage. Well, it is your instinct which will tell you, and your instinct will be wrong if you have nurtured it with bad conditioning. So the moment you see the dacoit, you will say that he is perhaps my guru. So don't think, oh mommy, my heart has said, there is nothing like that. See, take it as nothing like a voice of conscience. The voice of conscience is a cultivated one. There is no original voice. So whatever you think that your inspiration from God is not so unless your mind has become pure, free from all conditioning. Otherwise it is your conditioning which gives you, in nurture it dilutes you. Look here, this is a divine voice which is coming through you, do accordingly. There are some schizophrenia who come and tell us that, sir, something is going on telling me, jump into the well, jump into the well, that's why I jump. When they have been rescued, that is how they say. Then was it the Lord who gave the inspiration to jump into the well? It was his own conditioning, the bad conditioning, which had led to such depression. So we are all schizophrenic, you take it. So first remove the schizophrenia, and then only you can say, it is the Lord who gave me, it is Bhagavan Ramana who gave me inspiration. First your mind has to become pure, so that it can reflect the purity in it. Without that, if you think, it is all a delusion mostly. There could be an exception somewhere, because he might have become pure in his previous birth, of which we are not aware, or his previous bank balance has been transferred. We are not aware. That's likely. But such cases are extremely rare. Shravanadivi uddiptaha. Uddiptaha means completely burnt. She put it in the fire, in the flame. So, uddipta, that is heated in the fire of Shravana, etc. Heated in the fire of hearing, either from the scriptures or from proper, appropriate preceptors. So, uddipta. Uddipta means a kindled fire. That's what you call uddipta. A kindled flame. So, heated in a kindled flame. Then, Jnana Gripata. What is the kindled flame? The kindled flame is, why should you go at all to hear the lecture of some Shantananda who is babbling something from a book? You are going because your divine thermostat has begun to work. Perhaps it was dormant, it was sleeping all along, but now at last the divine thermostat is woken up. And you feel restless. You have got everything. You have got enough of money. You have got a nice wife. You have got beautiful children who are all weighing you all right. You lack in nothing, but still your mind is restless. There is a time you take it, that the divine thermostat is beginning to work. Now you will not rest till you find out how to bring back that peace of mind. And you will seek new avenues. And obviously, one of the things which you will like to have, whenever you have such restlessness of mind is, when somebody says you go to the temple, You go to Arunachala, why not try? Phone of the president, come over here for a couple of days and remain for a couple of years, extend it to. So, then what happens? Jnanagni paritaptaha. Paritapta is further heated. You see, it is only kindled by that caring. Caring doesn't fully heat you. By caring it, you get that longing. Yes, why should I not do some meditation like this? Why can't I take this particular stanza and go on thinking of what is said about it and let me spend an hour over it? So, doing it, what happens is, you are living on the entire world, thinking only of the Atma, and that is the jnana. That is the akhandakara vritti. This is a thought, this is not the final jnana. I am not talking about the ultimate knowledge. This is only the knowledge accumulated from scripture and from the Guru. You go on thinking of it, it becomes a flame. You immolate yourself in that flame, and it hits you, and then it's called a tapasya. Tapasya means heat, tapa to heat. Tapasya, austerities, remaining for a number of hours in meditation, and then for some days of fasting. All these things are part of austerities. And that is called tapasya. That is heating up. And many people say, yes, my body has been eaten. Our Ganapati Muni, who was along with our Bhagavan Ramana, who was right hand line, one day when he was there in the Bhagavan had gone Skandashram, he was there in the River somewhere. Suddenly he found flames were coming out of his head, from the forehead. Yes, it has been described for some people where certain cloths of this Kundalini rising takes place, then so much of heat that it just breaks up the Kapala. Kapala means this whole. So it just breaks up, it just comes out as a smoke. You can see as if something is on fire. People all got, people already aware. They are all mentioned in some rare books, but they are not normally mentioned like. It is called Kapala Bheda. It is one of the effects of some Kundalini, because he was also adopting the mantra method. So in certain mantras and all that, when you concentrate, it's quite possible the body gets heated like. It's not a body getting heated, it's a process. So in the process, all these things come. They immediately call the Bhagavan. Bhagavan came. He said, what is to be done? He said, get this oil, get that oil, apply it. You don't move out of this place. The food will come to you from the ashram daily. It will be given to you for 10 days or so. You don't move out of this place. And when it's going on, Bhagavan was established somebody else. I was also here for a number of years. At that time, who was there to advise me and guide? I was alone, I was on my own. There is nobody, there is no need of guiding. Even the Lord himself was incarnate. He used to talk like a common man. That's all. So, when once the operation of putting into the fire of Shravana, of caring has been done, then Jnana Paritapta is the stage of applying your logic and finally remaining in the Nididhyasana. Both the steps have been taken together here. Applying your logic, getting convinced of the path which you are adopting, and then finally going on thinking in a concentrated manner with an undivided attention, going on thinking of the Atma. I am Atma, I am not affected by anything. Nothing can affect me. No sound can affect me, whether beautiful, ugly, no visions can affect me. I am the one, I am the only one, there is nothing apart from me. Like that you going on contemplating night and day. And then the jiva becomes freed from all that, whatever is there, the various impurities which are common. Then by itself it shines just like a pure nugget of gold. Next one. Krida kasho dito khyatma bodha tamo padhati sarvam vyapi sarvadhari bhati sarvam prakashate. Where does this
Jiva, what is the location where in the body that Jiva begins to shine? Does your nose begin to shine just to make some light up and off? No, it's not so. Not your ears. So which is the part of the body where exactly the shine takes place? It takes place in the immense expanse of the heart. You see, look here, the moment you go into the stage of realization, it is an absolutely different plane altogether. Even though it is an overlapping plane line. You think it is so small line, how can there be a very big plane? Yes, it is told. Daharam vipa atmam parave svabhutam yat pundarikam buramatya saghristam. There is a small hole inside the heart. Inside there is a very big expanse, more infinite than thousands of galaxies, thousands of worlds. Such a big expanse. How can it be? These things you can understand. There's a beautiful book, a classical book, that is called the Yoga Vasishta. Yoga Vasishta is a very big book. It contains, you see, this book contains 68 slokas. That book contains 36,000 slokas. You can imagine now. That's why I gave you the comparison. 36,000 slokas, it is so big, where Vasishta explains the entire thing is not direct of Jesus. It doesn't go in orthodox methods. No banana, no shravana, no dhyana. Catch him directly. Jump, fly. Be an eagle, don't be a swan. That's all. So it's a beautiful method, and with various stories, the stories which come in the Yoga Vasishta, nowhere else you can see. And similarly, there is another book, Yoga Vasishta. If you really want to know something about it, we have a book here, but the word Yoga Vasishta is not written. It is written in the Supreme Yoga by Venkateshananda, who was in Australia and other places. There are 2 volumes of it. There you will find those various stories, and then what sort of esoteric meaning they have got, he has explained to a large extent. Then another book, out of 36,000 slokas, they have taken some 50 or 60 slokas, all the main essence. There is one very small book for 2 rupees or 3 rupees, like in our bookstall. It is called The Essence of Yoga Vasishta. There you will find the stories. As well, there is a small story. A lady loses her husband. He was a king. The queen loses her husband. The queen is so attached to the king, she can't remain without him. So she is always a worshipper of Saraswati, the goddess of learning, who was otherwise known in the Greeks as Paraceti. So she's so much of tapasya she does to the Saraswati night and day. When she appeared and asked, what do you want? She said, I want a husband back. She said, sorry, it can't be done. I can't interfere with the destinies of the universe, their destiny prescribed by the universe. So I asked something else. Then the next verse she said, his soul should not go out of my room. Let it be confined in this room. Let it not go to other places. She said, okay. So, knowing pretty well that her husband is not in his body, but she can be talking to him. She knows that he'll be hearing it because the soul is there. Then finally she can't bear the suspense of remaining with a disembodied soul and talking like a madcap with it, and with no response on the other side. Who would like to have such a boyfriend who can't be seen? You will be rather afraid to sleep. That's all. So naturally, she again prays to Goddess Saraswati. She says, look here, at least once you take me to him, let me have a vision of him, let me see him. She said, even though his soul is here, you can see him in his form, only at a distant place. I have to take you several thousands of kilometers or miles away. She said, okay, I'm prepared. Saraswati takes her a number of days. She takes her thousands of miles. They come to a small cottage where his boy is about 16 is weeping. Why are you weeping, man? He said, I lost both my mother and father together. My father was a hermit who was 50 years old. The king who died was 70 years old.
The hermit who is dying is 50 years old. And his wife was 45 years old. And his queen is 65, 68 years old. Now, Saraswati turns and tells, look here, his father was your husband. The hermit was 50 years old. He is your husband, who had lived for 75 years, while this man has died only now. See the contradictions. And his mother who died day first today, that is you. And this boy is your son. And you know, this cottage, where is it? It is in your room. What a contradiction. Incredible. Beyond all credibility. But you look at your dream. In the dream you are a king. You are a king in an African state. So in India, sitting inside the Ramanasramam's room, you are seeing an expanse of Africa, and it's somewhere written there, Botswana. So you are in Botswana, an African territory, and you are the king, and you are 10 times as fat, and you are enjoying yourself, and the king is a young fellow, age of 28, and you are 64. So you are existing, your duplicate 28 is existing. You are existing in Ramanashram. He is existing in Botswana, several thousands of kilometers long. Can you see how the contradiction is explained? So these are different planes. These are different planes. So similarly here, there is what is called the Hridaya Akasha. That is a very big expanse of the infinite. This is not a plane. This is almost infinite. But the infinite, when it is everywhere, when you are seeing it, and you are seeing it inside, when you are in the borderland of becoming from the individual to the universal, merging from the individual to the universal, you are able to see something here and you see the big expanse and infinite expanse. And you see the bubbles coming out of the consciousness in which you are about to drown yourself. And that is the stage where the beautiful expanse is done. It is poetic, it is not only poetic, it is a matter of experience. Whatever we may talk, it will fall short of the actual experience, we will deal with it tomorrow. And now there is only one sloka left, and tomorrow within about 5-10 minutes like perhaps, or 15 minutes like, we will finish it. And tomorrow itself we will start the new book called the Atma Sakshatkara Prakaranam of Jnana Kalotram. This book is available. So Jnana Kalotram, and this is also an Agama text, just like the Devi Kalotram which we did. It is an Agama text. Agamas means the Tantric text. But in Tantra, normally they deal with rituals. But Bhagavan Bhaikam, he found it contains the pure Jnana, unadulterated, the pure knowledge. So he was so taken up with it, then he wrote it in his own handwriting, and then he translated them. So all these things have happened. It's a beautiful book. And it's better that, take it from here. Yes, people who come and go every day, there's different. People who have got any permanent interest, I would suggest let them have a copy of it. Well, I'm not the agent of that.